Welcome to another Rooster Talk, where we talk with mining executives and getting updates and sort of a follow through from their previous discussions with us. Today, I've got Ralph Winter here from Moho Resources, who's going to give us an update on everything. And it will be a good start to our Sydney Series Rooster Talk. So, Ralph, off you go.
Yeah, no, well, thanks for having me, and welcome to all the listeners. It's always good to have a chat. So, yeah, look, Moho has been fantastically busy over the, we've been working feverishly in the background for the last 6 months or so, drilling across pretty much all our projects and doing work across all of them. All of that information and results has been coming to the market in the last, over the last sort of several months. So in terms of news flow, we've just appointed very recently a new technical manager, a geological technical manager, Lyndall Money, who comes to us from Burracoppin Gold. Fantastic wealth of experience. She's been very involved with pre-development of gold mining projects, not only at Kalgoorlie but around Southern Cross, Marvel Lock area, which is obviously fantastic because we've got projects in both those areas. And she's been a very valuable asset to the company and joining us there. So we're very excited about how she's going to help us advance East Samson Dam in particular, but really all our projects as we move forward.
Sorry, it's with East Samson Dam. I guess you're pretty close to sort of going down that real production route, right? So I think the last time we spoke, the JORC resource was upcoming. Can you give us an update on what's happening there?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So look, recently we've released our resource drilling results from both our diamond and our RC programs that we've been doing there. And the results, as we expected, there was some fantastic high grade stuff. And also we've managed to extend where we were looking to do the pit to the north and to the south, and it also appears at depth as well. So the initial JORC results will be based on the starter pit, but won't include those extensions. But obviously then gives us an upside to move into the extensions as we move forward. And look, from our point of view, heading into production at the current gold price, given the dips in the market, it's still very positive for us in Aussie dollar terms. We're talking $2,200 Aussie. It's still very profitable from our perspective. And that'll really put us in good stead to create the cash flow. And really what we've been trying to do is generate a cash flow for the company so that we can advance our other projects. So when we last spoke, you had a good chat. Sorry. You had a good chat with Dr. John Ronsky about our hydrogeochem at East Empress Springs. We released those results, and really what it did was it confirmed what we've been saying all along, that Empress Springs is a new mineral province, an undiscovered mineral province that we've now discovered. And the results and the comments from that were that the gold in the hydrogeochem were in the top 1% of those results nationally. So from our point of view as a small company, that's a fantastic result. And really led to us expanding our tenure in the area. So we've now acquired an additional, I think, 28 or 29% on top of what we already had there. So we've got 3,400 square kilometers in that area. And really what it does is it means we've got to be smart about how we explore there. But we also now hold a very, very lucrative and prospective area up in far north Queensland. So the whole strategy about getting that cash flow running is so that we can go ahead and we can advance projects like Empress Springs as we move forward.
Yeah, Empress Springs to me is a good project in the sense that it's early days, and obviously that you're sort of highlighting a large scale anomalism, which as John said, that it's the first guy that gets in that finds the biggest project. Not because you guys are of a special breed or anything, but it's just the fact that you got first looked at, and the best anomaly is always the biggest anomaly is the easiest one to find, so to speak, right? So I was really, really interested in what John had to say about what Empress Springs was. But I think that the whole strategy when we first had our very first coffee with Samso months and almost a year ago now, was the fact that you guys were working, with East Samson Dam to to get the production happening. So you got cash flow, becomes a self-funding, because something like Empress Springs is going to be a long journey. And I think the strategy you've had, that's why we sort of talked about it. And also with the hiatus in the gold price, and everyone's projecting that the gold price is going to go up to or more than what it is today. So and the timing, I mean, what's your timing on, say, from saying today to when potentially you could be breaking dirt? What could that potential timeline be?
Well, look, I guess, there's been little slippages here and there because of Corona. The labs have been delayed and rigs have been difficult to get a hold of. But realistically, we're still very much on track to what we said before. So we've got the JORC resource that CSA Global are doing for us at the moment. That should be coming out sometime now in May. The scoping study we expect to be done early in July. And then it'll just be a matter of all the permitting and stuff that needs to be done in the back end to get us to production. So we expect that probably, I think to be realistic, we're probably looking early next year. We were pitching towards the end of this year, and obviously if we can, advance it that quickly, we will. But certain things are just out of our control. Stuff like the government and permitting and stuff is just something we don't really know. So we are going to be trying our best to get it out as quickly as possible. But I anticipate probably early next year will be when we'll break first dirt. And as you said, generating that cash flow for a company of our size is a fantastic opportunity to really advance our other assets and strengthen the company. And not dilute our shareholders by having to go back and raise more money to advance those projects. So with a company that's only got 100 million shares on issue and has a market cap of just under 8 million, between 7 and 8 million, it's a fantastic investment opportunity for investors to get into a company that's going to be creating cash flow in the not too distant future, with the view, that you'll have obviously a re-rating of the company once you get to that point, because it'll be a company that's now advanced and is a much stronger base moving forward. So I think, the key takeaway from what I'm trying to say in this talk today is, Moho is a fantastic investment opportunity. We do believe we're undervalued, and I know everybody says that, but you find very few companies that have a sub 10 million market cap that are in the position we're in, leading towards a production scenario. And I think that's really the key takeaway from this all.
Yeah, I think a market cap of 7, 8 million is remarkable for what you guys have. As you probably know, and I'm sure a lot of viewers out there knows of market caps of companies that are in excess double what you are, and they don't have the potential of having to go mining, right? We're not saying, nothing's set in stone, but even the opportunity, the chance to self-fund, lots of those companies don't have that chance, if you want to call it, to do that, right?
That's right.
And you've got Empress Springs as something that's could turn into something significant as well. That's going to add value, in my opinion. I think I like it because obviously I'm an exploration kind of guy. In speaking with that, how's your Burracoppin going, your project?
Yeah, look, Burracoppin's also moving along, fantastically. So for those that don't know, Burracoppin's only 20 Ks from Ramelius's Edna May. We just completed our maiden RC drill program at Burracoppin, which was part of a co-funded drilling program with the WA government. And the results that came back from that were impressive. Given that we weren't targeting specific targets, it was essentially reconnaissance drilling. We got some really good high grades there. We got, a meter at 7.48 grams per ton in one of the intercepts. And really it's a vectoring tool. At that stage, what we're trying to do is vector into where the gold might be located, and then use the knowledge that we've discerned from that and the geological interpretation to then further advance our exploration and really find where the source is. So we've used all the data from the RC program. We've now developed a diamond program, which is also part of the co-funded drilling, and that's due to start in about a week's time, a week or two, I think. And really what that'll then do is go back and target the areas where we've found those high grade results and see if we can use the diamond drilling to really discern the structures in the ground, what the geology looks like, some further high grade stuff, and then use that to interpret, how we move forward So it's still a development story. It's still early stage, but the key indications early on from a vectoring perspective is very, very positive. And I think that's really the takeaway from Burracoppin. And given that we're in close proximity to Ramelius as Edna May, but we're also in close proximity to Southern Cross and Marvel Lock, there's a lot of infrastructure in the area. So if we did want to sort of take that towards a production scenario down the track following East Samson Dam, there's definitely potential there to do that as well. So I think Burracoppin is a bit of an interesting one, and will yield a lot of very interesting results moving forward. So it's a sort of a wait and see sort of one on that one, but definitely very positive. And I think that's the key takeaway from what we're trying to say, is that all our projects that we've been exploring have been kicking goals. We've been proving, that there's gold in these areas, and now it's really just how do we advance those projects. And then East Samson Dam is a case of how do we fund those projects? We get that production happening, we fund that, and we advance forward, and it doesn't dilute our shareholders, and we maintain a very tight market cap once we get to that point, a very tight equity structure, which as you know, is a way to sort of, an easier way to have your share price go up and down, because the less shares you have on issue, the easier it is for the price to go up when something positive happens. So, and that's really, I suppose, what the strategy's been all along. And so we're very positive. We're very happy that's the way we're going moving forward. Yeah.
I mean, it's good to hear. I mean, what you guys are doing, your strategy, because of late I've been getting a few comments from guys coming back to me and say, what do you think this company? And I'm glad that they're asking, what's the management like, and not asking, whether the results are great and stuff. And I say to them, if you've watched how they go about their exploration, if they're rushing in to drill holes to get numbers, or are they actually just trying to figure out where the numbers are, that will tell you, those that have better management or smarter use of their funds and while managing the exploration. Entering slowly and diamond drill core is obviously the one that tells you the most stories, and where you can get most of your answers from. But look, going forward, I mean, we touched on some news flow and things like that, but what's the news flow, going forward for you, your sort of plan A news flow?
Yeah, so look, I mean, there's still a lot happening. So like I said, Burracoppin diamond drilling starting in about a week or two. So we expect those results to be coming out in June. And then at East Samson Dam, I guess that's the one that's got a lot happening in the background. So you got the JORC resource that's being done at the moment. That'll come out sometime in May. The scoping study, like I said, that'll really follow on, and that'll include stuff like your metallurgy. So metallurgy will be announced somewhere in between those two. But the scoping study will include stuff like your master metallurgy, your economics on the project, your JORC resource, all that kind of stuff. So how do we advance the project towards production? And then following that, we'll have to then obviously go through the permitting process. But the key to East Samson Dam, and I think we've talked about this briefly before, is that East Samson Dam is really our starter pit. This is what we've been talking about. It's a small starter pit, but like I've indicated, the pit itself is open to the north and the south at a depth. So there's potential there to expand the pit after this initial JORC resource. But we're also looking to do a air core program over the Tyrrell zone, which is our 3.5 kilometer extension towards the northwest that we've discussed previously. And that really is an additional zone that we show gold and geochem that we've done in the past. And it indicates that there's potential to really expand out the resource there and the mining proposition as well. So even though it is a small starting operation, there is a lot of upside potential in terms of the mining scenario in that as well. So that'll probably be happening in June-ish. So you'll probably start to see results from that come through in sort of July, August, and so on as well. On top of all of that, we're also developing our nickel strategy. So we've talked about these tenements that we have to the south of Poseidon, which have been ongoing for a while now through the approvals process. We've been negotiating our access agreements and so on like that on that front. And once those are approved, which will probably be a few months down the track, hopefully, assuming no issues, we'll be able to get out there and do some more nickel exploration as well. But we do, that being said, we do have other tenements towards the north, on the northern end of our tenements there, and the northwest, that we're also looking to develop a nickel exploration strategy for. So there'll be some nickel stuff coming out. How that sits at this point, I don't know exactly, but that's also in development. So that'll be an interesting one moving forward. Obviously, nickel, nickel's in high demand, and we've always been unashamedly both a gold and a nickel explorer. So that's what we want to try and achieve with that. So, and then with Empress Springs, as I said, we're developing an exploration strategy. We're trying to be smart about how we do it, given the scale of what we're looking at, and we're using the resources that we have at our disposal at this point to really focus in and do the exploration in a very meaningful and effective way. So we're using the likes of John Ronsky. We've been in discussions with IGO. They helped us out with a hydrogeochem analysis with CSIRO as well. Obviously, they have a wealth of experience, and because they're our JV partner, that comes in handy as well. So there's a lot that'll come out of that, and hopefully we'll announce that over the next month or so. We'll be able to show where we're going to be taking Empress Springs moving forward as well. So a lot of news flow coming up, a lot of work for the guys and girls in the company to sort of advance. But we're very excited by where we are, and like I said before, Moho is an undervalued company and a fantastic investment proposition. For a company that's sub 10 million market cap going towards a production scenario, you don't find that very often in the market that we're in. So I think it's a very important point for people to really understand.
Yeah, no, I think the if anything, key takeaway here is that you've got someone with such low market cap with the potential to be a producer. The chance. I mean, everything's a chance, right? It's always plan A, plan B. But and going back on your nickel thing, your chairman's a nickel man, so that'll make perfect sense. Yeah,
exactly. And look, Terry's a wealth of experience on the nickel front. He's obviously been in it for a very long time. And, he always brings some fantastic ideas around the nickel and stuff to us as well. And we bounce those around and have a think about, how we can advance things from that front. So, I suppose we haven't been focusing on the nickel too much in probably the last sort of 6 months or so, 6 or 12 months. But it's never forgotten. It's always been part of our strategy. So it's that's why we're looking to sort of revamp that as well a bit now and develop that moving forward. So, look, like I said, people are very excited. And I just want everybody else, to be as excited as we are going forward, because, realistically, I think the company has, fantastic positivity and potential. And I think if people can sort of zone in on that and sort of take that on as an investment decision, it really will benefit everybody moving forward. And I think that's a good thing. Yeah.
All right. Look, fantastic. It's good review of what you guys going and for the viewers out there. Again, at this point, I'd love to encourage you guys to contact Ralph directly. If you need help, sure, send me an email or message or something, and I'll forward his emails. But look, Ralph, thank you. Thank you very much, and for participating in another series, and we'll hopefully get to hear more stories about more results coming out, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. And look, thanks, Noel, and thanks everybody to listening today. And like you said, if anybody wants to have a chat, you're more than welcome to share my email details and stuff, and I'll be happy to contact them and have a chat about it. So.
All right. Thanks, Ralph. Catch you again.
Thanks, Noel. Keep well. Cheers.